Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Thunder traded Isaiah Joe to the Detroit Pistons for 2 second-round picks. What second-round picks? I don't have that information in my head right now. Grabbing my phone to look. I didn't come prepared like I should have. I'm trying to rush because I got a basketball team to draft. I'm already starting early. But hey, that's the first thing I see when I turn on the app. So thank you, Shams, and thank you, Algorithm. So, yeah, it just says two future second rounders, and they actually don't tell you what type of picks they are. Jose Alvarado is declining his $4.5 million option with the Knicks and is signing a new 3-year, $14 million deal to return to the Knicks. So they retained their hometown champion. I'm sure everybody's happy with that. 3-year, $14 million. So that's just a tick up from what he was making, I guess. Maybe a tick lower, actually. 3 years, no, tick up. Nothing too serious. Yeah, stays at the same price tag. They can lock him up for a couple extra years. He gets to stay home for certain. At least it would appear that way, unless some trade happens, which I don't anticipate. Jose Alvarado is such a nice player to have around, especially in a winning situation. Now we've seen how he was able to contribute to their championship situation. It makes a lot of sense to keep him around. So yeah, man, that's really what I have to say about that. And I still don't know what the two picks would be for Isaiah Joe, but he's going to a Detroit team that really could use what he does. And I've said many times that I think they need to be shooting the ball, trying to find people who can shoot the ball around the players that they have that are non-shooters. So adding Isaiah Joe is the epitome of taking care of that. I think they have a bigger role for Isaiah Joe in theory than maybe what the Thunder had. I don't know if he starts or nothing like that, but I do believe he'll play. They picked up a Corey. They picked up in the draft. That's a young prospect. Reminds me of Aaron Brooks from the Rockets back in the day. A real nice shot creator for himself. Not really much for others, but definitely a talented Schroeder-like player. So I like that piece more than a lot of people do. I thought they could use a facilitator a little more, but ultimately I like the piece and the level of talent that he brings to the table. I think should be pretty fun for the Pistons as well. So they added shooting to their situation. They got to try to retain Duncan Robinson. I'm not sure what the situation is. I just heard someone say that this morning. So that would be helpful if they could keep him as well. And then they have a real nice, sharp shooting tandem of players surrounding Cade Cunningham and Ausar Thompson and Jalen Duren if they're able to retain him. Now, there was some conversations about Duren that I thought were interesting. Well, hold up. Mark Williams signed a 3-year, $38 million contract to go back to the Suns. Period. All right. But back to Duren. From what I understand with Duren, it was rather interesting because this morning it was said that he wants to pursue opportunities for sign and trade away from Detroit. They did not provide him an offer that he was pleased with. And so that's his intention. And then like an hour later, you saw the Detroit Pistons come out and essentially say that they are not trading him. Their intention is to re-sign him. So don't come asking about Jalen Duren. He is not unrestricted free agent. So they have the opportunity to match anything, or, worst comes to worst, it could be a holdout situation. He can always opt into his contract for a year. I don't know what he's making for this one season. I think he was probably still on his rookie deal. And if that was the case, that's not good money. So, you could either take what they're offering, whatever it looks like, or you could try to play hardball and sit. But if you go out there and run around on this minimal deal, you become a free agent next year. But a lot of things can go wrong. You could roll you could have an injury that takes you out of this season, and then it could really affect your free agency as to which you will be offered even less next year, in theory. So, yeah, I think, and I'm just copycatting what someone else said on their podcast today, but I agree with. I think the Player Association needs to push hard to remove restricted free agency from the equation. That needs to go. It creates a lot of problems when the team that retains the player has so much leverage in a situation where the player's unhappy, they're lowballing the player because of it. He has this weird, scenario that I just described where they can opt in for some small amount and risk something catastrophic taking place throughout that season that would really put even more of their money at risk. It kind of locks a player into a situation where he doesn't feel respected and maybe doesn't want to play. And I just think that if you're the owners, you love that. If you're the players, you need to be fighting to get some of that leverage back. They need to reimagine that so it's a bit more friendly for the players, in my opinion. That's leaning a little too heavy on the owner's side of the game. It's just not. That's hostage. You're holding a guy hostage, and you're making a locker room pay for it as well. Because if a guy's unhappy, he can make others unhappy. He could be very much difficult to deal with. It could be a lot of a strain. It could be a hell of a strain on the coach, etc. So, I for one am always frustrated with restricted free agency. Just 100% tired of it. Every year we see this problem with somebody, and it's usually really ugly. And the player, sometimes it's resolved peacefully, like Giddey's situation. I think worked out for him. He held out and got what he wanted. Ayton was holding out and ended up getting what he wanted. The Pacers offered him something massive after not getting his money from the Phoenix Suns, so it worked out for him. But it's a real strain. And when you look at the time restraints on opposing teams that may want that player, you're looking at a situation that also really hurts opposing teams as well in a way that may not be very balanced as well. You consider my Los Angeles Lakers could really use Jalen Duren, but we don't have the time to wait this out. We don't have the time to be going back and forth with the bluffing that Pistons are doing or the stance that they're taking. We need to be able to offer him an offer sheet that's sizable enough so that we can take that player from the Pistons. Since they want to play hardball with him anyway, don't want to respect him any damn way, he should be in a situation where he can flourish and get the money he deserves, get the years he deserves. And we can offer him that. The Pistons are obviously playing hardball because they have the leverage to do so based on this restricted free agency nonsense. I think Jalen Duren would be much happier in Los Angeles playing with Luka, catching lobs from Luka. I really do. Detroit's a nice situation. They're a contending team, but it's Detroit at the end of the day. And they are playing hardball with him. He did have a bad playoffs with them. I think he needs a fresh new scenery, and I don't think he should have to risk making small amounts for one season, potentially hurting himself and having a real problem with his financial future, just to get out from the shekels that are holding him hostage and not respecting him as he feels he should be respected. So that's frustrating for me. I don't like restricted free agency on no level. I really don't. And I want it gone. And so that's what I want to say about that. That's one of my biggest pet peeves in the league entirely. Besides flopping, it's restricted free agency. It's a hamper. It's a hindrance on multiple fronts for opposing teams that really want a player, and for the player themselves who want away from their situation. So that's really what I got to say. Let's get rid of that. But yeah, now it's time for me to go draft my teams. I appreciate everybody for allowing me to make this little quick video. Video 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.